chase you off stage. He's going to get that clippable moment, and you're going to end up watching it on the Monday Esports dev stream if they go through those, or in like any of the highlight videos that like Frone puts out. You see him on YouTube Shorts, like the top 10 plays. Not seeing Pavelski in one of those that's the outlier.
Okay.
But of course, he can also get himself into trouble when he goes for those things, and that's one of the reasons we love Pavelski. That's what makes him such a unique player. And on the other side, Neeze is kind of that way as well, but he's reined that in a little bit. He's gotten control over his playstyle kind of better than he ever has in his career, and he's given us, as he's getting potentially knocked
I was about to say,
over on the right
I was like, we got no
side.
time for narratives here, Sparky. We got to talk
man.
about the game right here coming through right now, and it was a ditto, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So should be for a fun time.
This is an interesting team comp that we see coming out from Acno and Neeze. Acno, kind of like his most historic moment was a GC Insig back towards the stage at BCX with Kaya, and he's coming in here with Teska, who has no weapon crossover with Kaya whatsoever, and they may need to, maybe not, but might need to take this legend choice back to the drawing board, as the blue team's going to end up taking the early lead.
Yep. As you say, KO off the top from Neeze, but it's looking like high damage over there on Sarme, so any second now, any conversion will do it. Off-stage action going on. Here we go.
Now, we are seeing the double Val coming in from Sarme and Pavelski. Not necessarily a strange individual legend choice, but of course that does bring in the potential for DI, where if like Pavelski has a sword, goes for the sword neutral light, Sarme goes for the sword neutral light, the opponent can DI out of that because you had two same moves while they were still in hit stun.
Okay, Sarme will go off on the side right there, and I really did love kind of just the doubles fundamentals tactic right there of Sarme being at such high damage, where you're like, oh, Pavelski's looking really juicy right now. Let me just 2v1 real quick for a second while you take forever to come back. As I speak, though, blue team maintaining a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, Pavelski is the kind of the one that we're looking at right now. We'll see how long he can survive on this second stock. He is very damaged. If they can get Acno into the red, now Pavelski's been taken out. If they can get this stock off of Acno sometime soon, you see that side signature going right over the corner. Of course, Val has those interesting signature interactions with the wall and with the corners. Changes it a little bit different than if you just did it on straight, flat ground.
Sure, okay. Acno playing a little bit off the stage here. We see what the 2v1 looks like on the right side right here, but it's not going to amount to too much. Now it's kind of split off into our 1v1s for just a moment, as I say it.
See if they can get Acno off the top. That should do it. Yes, it does, that sword recovery. Sarme went for a D-Light recovery on the sword before, but the high ceiling on Demon Island made it a little bit more difficult to KO there. A little bit of team damage come out. That could be dangerous.
Oh, wow.
Maybe it was just the reposition. Here comes Sarme!
You fell for the classic blunder, Sparky. What was that? How did Red Team end up dying there?
Wow. Neeze sent Acno over there. He felt confident and in control enough, and we have ourselves a 2v1 in favor of the blue team. Neeze is the least healthy on the board. Pavelski's close, and just like that.
Yeah, that's game one going over to Pavelski and the blue team right here. Love to see it. I mean, that mix-up on the left side was confusing, to say the least, but I love the way that it turned out.
Let's see if we get a replay of that ending moment before they end up. So we can, it was just a nice little 3-4 piece, that neutral air into the end light. Of course, they didn't have to worry about DI, even though they're on the same legend, because they have the two opposite weapons for that legend. Nice gauntlet nair, throwing back in, the setup, the easy setup, and the follow-up with the signature KO. Didn't need to add up a bunch of damage. They knew exactly what they needed to do, and they executed it.
All right, so now what do you think Red Team needs to do to make an adjustment coming back into this one?
They need to figure out how to deal with gauntlets, because here, let's look at some numbers here. Specifically Acno. Okay, I didn't want to say this just on vibes alone, but Acno needs to step it up. He only took 434 damage, which is not a lot to then be knocked out. Ooh, there's overlap in damage on the red team that the blue team's doing right now. But he also needs to do more damage. He only did 284, and we see a double KO this early, is just about 30 seconds into the game. So whatever adjustment they made is not it, Walt.
And that was so clean there. Pavelski overextending a little bit off stage, but just the backup from Sarme, just knowing his teammate has his back right there is so nice. But as I say, this might be a 2-for-1 coming right back for the red team. Here we go. We're even it right back up, Sparky.
So that was like 3 layers that happened over there. First, we saw Sarme go down. He had the sweat beads. He was running out of everything. He threw out a neutral air, which gives you a chase dodge on hit.
Yeah.
So so he could chase dodge up, giving him more movement. There's a KO there. Now Neeze on final stock, and they get the full team wipe here to keep this one still very much in their favor. But then after that chase dodge, he didn't have enough to still get back, so we saw Pavelski go under him and end up hitting his teammate up. Now the red team was there, and they were present, and they were able to punish and still get the double KO off of it. But you see the team play coming out from blue.
Yeah, and this is really good positioning that I've just been noticing. You know, Pavelski being a little bit more of the aggressor off stage, just again, knowing Sarme will have his back right there. Red team playing defense now, trying to recover back towards the stage. No resources left. It's going to be a stock trade right here from both sides, but what happens to red team now?
It's just going to be acno here for a moment as Sarme is spawning back in. Little bit of a flub there.
And we do see double gauntlets, so
yeah, he had to make sure to
right?
not go for the in-light. That would have been the really easy thing to do. He probably would have gone for the gravity cancel in-light if he was playing with another weapon on his team, but he couldn't do that, so he had to go for the D-light. And that's where the little bit of the flub came out from it. But still, dude, these damage numbers coming out from the blue team are so extremely efficient because you turn red at 150 damage, right? Yellow is 50, orange is 100, red is at 150. So that's when you start looking for that KO, and even so, you usually have to get like a signature in the right spot on the map. A lot of things have to line up for you to get those 150 damage KOs. But the damage that Sarme and Pavelski are doing between them, 441 from Sarme. That's averaging under 150 damage needed to get the KO. Pavelski even better than that at 340 damage total. So their efficiency is unbelievable.
Yeah. And I think you saw it really clear as day once we got to the offstage game, right? And again, like I point out that positioning time and time again of Pavelski's like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to go for it. Off stage, I can spend my resources. It's fine. Sarme's got my back no matter what.
And we're seeing the gauntlets also coming out from Acno and Neeze, but they're not nearly as effective, especially off stage. And that's one of the things that you want when you're a gauntlet player. You need to be relying on that off stage. You have an extremely strong off stage. So if that's not an effective tool in your toolkit needs to be more fleshed out. Like you have a screwdriver and you have a hammer, but you need some Allen keys in there.
You also need the dad pointing out what tool is the right one to go through.
Pointing out very aggressively, yelling, and it's
Give me the Phillips head, not the flathead, son. Come on. We're going into game 3 right here. It's going to need to be a reverse 3-0 from Acno and Neeze in order to bring this one right back. Really good offstage right here from the red team, but once again, Sarme is there to play defense.
So we see the double gauntlets out from the red team right now, and because blue team had both double sword, they needed to press those offstage engagements every time they had the chance to do it. Even Boots offstage, of course, very strong as well. They do get the full team wipe here. Neeze is going to fall, but Agno's extremely healthy. He's only about halfway through this stock, and you already see him pushing Pavelski off stage. He's been in advantage state against Pavelski. Now he's swapping over to Sarme. So Agno's damage this game, I imagine it's going to be better. Of course, things could immediately run into a wall here, but so far his damage output's been fantastic. His survivability's been fantastic. Pavelski, even though they got Acno's first stock, Pavelski might be taken out here very soon.
Right. We are approaching red damage right now. We did see Acno go for a GC by the ledge right there, which it looked like it was just kind of covering an upwards recovery from either member of the blue team, almost option selecting right there. Really, really good stuff so far. Red team showing some signs of life so far.
Not only signs of life, but also a lot of competitive integrity, because we did see that gravity cancel taunt that came out from Pavelski. That's a universal symbol for I'm having connection issues, something is going wrong, which is why you're just seeing everybody jumping around right now. This is everybody having like a gentleman's agreement to not hit each other, which guy like me, I'm going after Pavelski right away. I do it in ranked, I would do it in tournament as well. But this is showing good sportsmanship between these players, which is why nothing is happening.
How often have you seen people break the code? And
honestly,
what happens
it's so
after
rare.
that? Yeah.
It's so rare because I think people are worried about how it'll be received, and they don't want to deal with the heat.
Sure, okay.
I love the heat, though. But of course, I'm not playing on this type of stage. I'm just doing it in my ranked games.
So we are in a bit of downtime right now, Sparky. Tell me a little bit more about some of these adjustments you've been seeing from the red team, because it does look like currently, once we get back into the game, they have a slight lead right now.
The gauntlets are definitely stepping up from Acno. I've mostly been paying attention to him specifically this game, so I haven't seen too much of what Neeze is doing. That doesn't mean he's not doing anything. My eyes have just been glued to Acno. And his gauntlets have started stepping up. The pressure from his boots have started stepping up as well. It looks like we got got the blown kiss from Sarme. We're seeing the rapid movement that doesn't look like a bot or anything like that. So I think we're back into it. Pavelski gets taken off of his second stock onto his final. That was a nice side signature coming out from Neeze there to clean that one up quickly. Sarme almost got taken off the top.
Okay. Oh, Sarme piecing up though. Acno off the right side there. Neeze, help your mans. Let's go.
Pavelski almost had the sword ground pound follow-up. I don't know if he meant to land it on the wall or if he meant to do it just off the edge so that he could ride that line down after that dodge came out.
Quick little team combo on Pavelski as Sarme spawns right back in. A little bit of miscommunication there on the right side, though, as the blue team kind of kicks on to the other teammate here. Good offstage. Here we go.
Their follow-ups have been great. Neeze picked up 2 people. Acno was there to follow up. Now they have the team combo.
Okay, let's see it.
And they have it set up.
All right, we got one on the board, Sparky. I'm seeing some signs of life here.
Oh, yeah, and look at the damage from Acno there, stepping it up a lot with 564 damage, much healthier numbers. Now, the 380 coming out from Neeze, like, I'm not going to look at Neeze here and be like, hey, brother, you got to step it up, because, one, they got the KO, and you can look at the damage that he took. He took less than he did, so very efficient as well. Of course, we saw one of the things he hit was that side signature to KO. I believe it was Pavelski, and, of course, the damage that they built up on that final stock was definitely split between the two rather than like, oh, we're going to do 2 separate 1v1s.
Right.
I'm going to do a lot of damage on this guy. You're going to do a lot of damage on that guy.
Right, and I think a big thing that I noticed, especially in the turning point of that game 3 for Red, was just being able to pick up quick 2v1s, just get a 2, 3, 4 piece, whatever it may be, while the other guy on blue team spawning back in, right? Because it is that fixed timer on them coming back. It's like, all right, let's take a bunch of damage, see what we can get, and then we'll just play the offstage from there.
And that's where you'll see some players choose to go over to the wall, and I'm going to shark on the wall, and so that they don't pressure me. They might end up hitting each other, so they're going to stay up on the main platform. Or if we're on a map with soft platforms, especially if we have like 2 or 3 soft platforms, just going to shark around on those soft platforms while my teammate comes in. Because going down there and fighting their team, like, you're risking so much in that moment for pennies. Like, what are you actually going to do? You're hunting for crumbs that you need a miracle to get.
Right. Yeah, and it's interesting that you point that out, too, because I did notice there was a point in that game 3 where both red team players just did a cannonball off the left side, and they're like, you know what? We're getting a stock here one way or the other. And it's crazy, you know, because sometimes that risk reward is just straight up not worth it.
3. So we're going in back to Apocalypse. No legend swaps coming from either of these players. I'm going to look at what level Acno's Teska is. Use the stat tool while you take over for just a moment.
We are looking. We see the down light from Neeze. Get the anti-air right there, but not going to get too much. Out of resources is Neeze as well, but nice pickup on the right side.
All right, so it is his 14th highest leveled legend. He has a level 45 Teska. So plenty of time on the Teska. We might be seeing some of that coming out this game, but it was actually Neeze who got the KO. He sent over to the left side. Acno coming back in. A little bit of team damage. Oh, that's going to lead to the KO. And a full team wipe. And this time, Acno's not the one being healthy. It's Pavelski.
Yeah, and Acno almost set up the alley-oop right there for blue team to capitalize. So, again, like you said, bit of miscommunication right there. Red team got to tighten it up if they want to stay alive right here on the winner side.
Ooh, okay. Neeze juggling Pavelski back and forth. It seemed like he wanted to move over onto Sarme to go for the 2v1, which they did get for just a moment, but he was stuck between, like, do I try to finish the stock off of Pavelski, or do I go for the 2v1 man advantage? He almost got that hit. Great punish from Pavelski, using his sidelight to get in just from below.
Okay, yeah, Neeze desperate weapon throw right there to maybe try to break up the action, but unfortunately, Acno will fall right there. And this is looking really scary. Again, both the blue team in the red right now, which is not great to be in. But if Acno goes down, it is bad news bears for the red team.
Sarme just went for the unarmed D-Light into gravity cancel down heavy, the breakdance coming out for his finishing move, even though he was in the middle of the stage. So really, you'd want to send off the top. If you're going for the more bold strategy, the one that will knock out earlier, you go for the gravity cancel neutral heavy. If you want to go for the easier to execute move, which doesn't KO as early, you go for the unarmed recovery. But the down heavy is crazy. I mean, even someone like Bakonko goes for the gravity cancel side heavy in the other direction.
Okay, that was rough. Yeah, a couple times right there looking at Neeze going for ground pound off the right side right there, perhaps overextending too, forcing them to use the wall jump, and then they take down to their last stock right here. So this is looking real dicey for the red team. Okay, here we go. How does Acno fight his way back now towards the stage? Spends the jump right there and somehow touches ground.
He was able to get a weapon relatively quickly, but every hit sends him so far away from his teammate. But Neeze was able to take out Pavelski over on the right side.
Neeze needs to take a lot of initiative here. I think if acno goes down, it's just over at this point.
And then on the other side, Pavelski needs to be the one to take initiative for the blue team.
Wow,
that's not what they want!
Okay. Yeah, acno just playing it right back, starving weapons, really, really good stuff right there. The 2v1 not going to happen just yet. Okay, here we go. Acno again. So saving the ground pound leads to that reversal. That is such bad news there, Sparky. This might have sealed it.
No way. Sarme just picked that up. It's still definitely winnable for Neeze. He has a very strong signature kit, a very quick signature kit, specifically the side signature. While he has the spear, dodges through, tries to follow up. Oh, Sarme, you weren't there with the right time. Why'd you go for a side air and not a recovery?
Oh my gosh, this is so doable. You're so right. Okay, the KO off the top, but I mean, look at the health bars at the end right there, Sparky. Imagine that 1v2 comeback.
That was so close. And look at the damage that everybody was doing. Of course, Pavelski coming in at 465. Sarme had to put out 549. Neeze, you told him to take initiative. He was doing it at the end, but I think he also did it the entire time because he put out 659, picked up 3 KOs for his team, and Acno really struggled that game. Only 288 damage.
Yeah.